How to break down your heart wall. This is the video to do it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. In this video today, I'm talking about breaking down your heart walls or de-armoring your heart. Unlike our bodies, our hearts never really break, but they're ripped open. The choice is ours whether we want it to grow or we want to close it off. And the only thing stopping us from loving less is a memory or a fear of how much it hurt the last time. This is the armor in your body. If we've burnt our hand on a candle or we've been hit by a truck, whenever one of these trauma things come close to us, we're going to flinch. We're going to react. When we have an armoring around the heart, let's say a new potential lover enters your life, we're likely to push them away on a subconscious level if we've been hurt in the past, because we remember the pain. With an aligned mental, spiritual, emotional body, we can choose to react differently. We can choose to treat our heart like a muscle, because heartbreak, we didn't break our heart, they just broke our expectations, you see. And heartbreak actually gives us a bigger capacity to love. Why? Because it takes a big heart to forgive somebody. To forgive the unforgivable means we have to actually make our hearts bigger. And whether we achieve this or not, it's not as important as working towards it and healing our hearts. So maybe you've been through some kind of a heartbreak quite recently. I want you to notice where it's located on your emotional body, in a sense, because our organs, different parts of the body, they hold tension, they hold fear, they hold emotions. So you want to find where is this stored on a cellular level. You see, mostly when it comes down to relationships, it's a reflection of our masculine and feminine energies. Our masculine is an example of our father figure that we had growing up, and our feminine is the example of the mother figure that we had growing up. When we do a lot of therapy or parts work, and we distance ourselves from our own emotions at times and look at them objectively, we start to actually heal them. And it's not so much that we're forgiving ourselves, but we're forgiving the character in this movie timeline. Basically, dialogue work really helps when you speak to the part of you that is hurt. When you speak to the heartbroken part of you, you'll start to generate an interaction that will start to heal, and you'll start to embody your pain differently, because it'll slowly start to release itself, because you're being present with the heartbreak and where it's showing up in your life, because it might be showing up in many different ways for you. It's important for you to be conscious about how it's showing up for you. One thing that's really helped me is just being present with my heart, sitting still and allowing that energy to move through me, sometimes through a physical practice like yoga or dance, but even in general, if you just allow yourself to move. And this doesn't have to be like a dance to music, right? It's an ecstatic dance or a movement-based platform where you're just allowing your body to move in such a way that the energy has somewhere to go and move to. Self-massage is another great technique where you can actually start to massage the areas of tension and the tenderness in your body, and be present with the tenderness that's there within your body. For our hearts to slowly heal again, we have to understand that we have to make who we are, our mission, our purpose, way more engaging, brighter, energizing than that person ever did. Because that person, they held a very important connection to our lives. It was our connection and a mirror into our other polarity. When you're in a conscious relationship, you're able to pause and go into your yin or your yang according to the situation. You're not in your immature masculine or your immature feminine. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the times when we are unhealed, when we're wounded, we show these traits of ourselves, like reactivity, like manipulation, like people pleasing, like being a control freak or a tyrant. All of these are showing up in our relationships or in different ways. And when we can actually start to come back to the idea of, what do I want this to evolve into? What is the internal alchemy here? Right? Like for instance, you're going from judging someone to being more curious about them. That's an evolution. Right? It's more of a discernment now. It's very difficult to go from judgment to then discernment. You can go from judgment to curiosity to discernment. You see what I'm saying? So it's a process of evolution. It doesn't happen like swiftly. It's not like you go one day from being in your fully embodied in your immature masculine to your mature masculine. Like that doesn't happen. But what you can do is focus on these individual traits that you carry within you and start to transmute those. And once you start to do that, you then start to avoid those immature traits because you're more aware about them coming up again. Staying in your masculine allows the feminine to feel safe and be in the feminine. If you're not in your masculine, she's not going to feel safe. She's going to be exhausted. She's going to try to exert more pressure to try to put on the masculine role, and eventually you're going to feel even more annoyed at that, and the cycle continues. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes honestly people aren't a good fit. That's it too. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you have to try and make everything work with everybody, you know. Sometimes the chemistry is just off, or certain things that they have way too many expectations, or they're very high maintenance, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like there's different elements of every relationship, so we're not going to break down every single nuance. But what I am saying is, understand your potential as this character that you're portraying in your being, okay? Understand the potential of what you can grow into, because that is what is most important. In a relationship, you're relating to each other to support each other to grow. If that relationship isn't supportive, or they're making you feel weak as a man, or if you're a woman and you feel weak as a woman, that's not a great relationship in a sense, right? There's something wrong in the communication, or in the trust, or in the issues, or there's some healing that needs to happen. And so I remember a while ago, I had blocked my ex on all platforms, and then it was actually a big part of my healing process to unblock her and like start talking again, right? That might not be the case for you. You might be like, oh, my ex is toxic, I never want to talk to them again, get out of my face or whatever. But I think it's just important to forgive. You know, it's important to heal just yourself, not just for them, but just for yourself, you know, because you're going to carry yourself with a glow and a different energy when you have that closure, when you have that understanding of like, hey, I said what needed to be said and I got that apology in the end. You know, start to incorporate healing into your daily life. A lot of people think healing is like this thing that, oh, I'll go to a spa and I'll heal for that day, and then they don't do anything for weeks and weeks. Or they'll go to a therapist like every 6 months or something. You know what I mean? Like, look, you got to make it a process to really heal. And de-armoring your heart is not easy. It's like you're going to have to face a bunch of things. You have to forgive some people. You're going to have to go through this process of actually feeling through and coming out of scarcity and fear into love and into your heart. Going from the basal energies that are trying to keep you trapped to much more of a higher energy where you can connect again. Is to actually test for your heart wall. What texture is it made from? Is it made out of styrofoam? You know, is it made out of adamantium? Is it made out of terracotta? Is it made out of wood? Is it made out of, you know, some kind of gooey material? Like, what is your heart wall made out of? Is it like steel? Like mine used to be steel or like iron or something, you know? And I really had to actively break that down. And why am I using these terms? Because the abstract, when you use abstractions in your subconscious mind or through healing work, it's closer to source, which means it's higher vibration. when you're saying things cut and dry and very straightforward, and the ego loves that, right? Categorization and making complete sense. That doesn't heal you. We got to work with the abstractions and the vagueness in the healing world. That's the most important thing. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video today. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's heal. Boom.